Number 8, fear of being alone. You finally get time to yourself. No notifications, no social obligations, just you and your thoughts, and then suddenly it's like, wow, I'm gonna die alone, huh? That creeping dread when you're alone for too long. It's not just existentialism on shuffle, it's evolution whispering, hey, isolation used to be a death sentence. You see, humans are pack animals, not in the howl at the moon way, more in the we literally need other people to not die horribly way. Alone in the wild meant no protection, no help, no one to guard you while you slept. You were basically a walking buffet. That fear of being alone, of abandonment, of exile is rooted in that prehistoric reality. Your brain is still wired to think, no tribe equals danger equals probably won't survive till breakfast. Even today, prolonged isolation leads to mental and physical health issues, depression, anxiety, weakened immune systems. It's like your body starts sending warning, no backup, signals in every system. So yeah, being clingy isn't always a personality flaw. It might just be 200,000 years of please don't leave me in the forest with bears. Basically, your fear of being alone isn't weakness. It's wisdom wrapped in social anxiety. Number 9, fear of drowning. You're at the beach, toes in the sand, sun on your face, and then you walk into the water, a wave hits your knees, and suddenly your brain goes, this is it. This is how we die. Say goodbye to your land legs. Welcome to aquaphobia, or more specifically, the fear of drowning. And spoiler alert, it's one of the most justified fears your species has ever clung to, your lungs. Not designed for underwater exploration. Your ancestors knew that. In fact, they didn't need science to explain why inhaling water was a terrible idea. They just watched Greg from the next tribe go for a swim and not come back. The fear of drowning is baked into your biology. When water hits your face unexpectedly, your body triggers the mammalian dive reflex. Heart rate slows, blood flow restricts to vital organs, and you involuntarily hold your breath. This isn't calm or helpful, it's full-on panic mode with flailing limbs. Even modern swimmers experience it. A slight undertow, a misstep in a pool, or even accidentally swallowing water while laughing, and boom, full internal alarm bells. Why? Because humans are not fish, we're barely dolphins in yoga pants. Drowning is one of the most efficient ways nature has for reminding you that you're not in charge out there. So if you feel uneasy in water deeper than your knees, it's not silly. It's your brain screaming, return to land, you soggy fool. Basically, fear of drowning equals not wanting to evolve gills the hard way. Number 10, fear of blood. You nick your finger, just a tiny cut. And suddenly, the sight of that red stuff sends your stomach doing backflips and your face into I'm about to pass out territory. Welcome to hemophobia, the fear of blood. And yes, your squeamish reaction has roots deeper than just hating needles or horror movies. See, your ancestors didn't have hospitals. They had dirt, leaves, and questionable advice from village elders. A visible injury wasn't just inconvenient, it was a possible death sentence. Infection, predators, or just straight-up bleeding out were all very real threats, so your brain developed a little warning system. A let's freak out before it gets worse feature. And for some people, that warning system is extra aggressive. Here's the weird part. Unlike other phobias that ramp up your heart rate, fear of blood can actually trigger a vasovagal response, which means your heart rate drops, your blood pressure plummets, and your body tries to play dead. Because apparently your brain thinks fainting in the presence of blood is a good idea. Thanks, evolution, very helpful. Some scientists think this reaction was once adaptive. If a predator sees you go limp, maybe it thinks you're already dead and leaves you alone. A biological bluff, basically, so if you faint at the sight of blood, don't feel weak. You're just running the prehistoric fake your death software, and honestly, that's kind of impressive. Number 11, fear of germs. Ah yes, the invisible menace. Germs, microscopic freeloaders responsible for everything from the common cold to global pandemics and your weird uncle's refusal to shake hands. Fear of germs, acamysophobia, often gets written off as OCD-lite or modern paranoia. But spoiler, it's one of the most practical phobias you can have. Your ancestors didn't know what bacteria were, but they knew that food left out too long equals death. Dirty water equals death, not washing hands after handling raw meat equals medieval funeral. And how did they know? Trial and error. Emphasis on error. Fast forward a few thousand years and your immune system is still carrying that legacy of caution. Your brain registers filth, mucus, or even the idea of contamination as threats. Because they are. It's not irrational to get the ick from a public restroom. It's not overkill to avoid drinking from a stranger's water bottle. That's your ancient immune instinct going, no thank you, I'd like to skip intestinal warfare today. The fear becomes a problem only when it starts interfering with daily life, but a little mysophobia. It's basically nature's hand sanitizer, so go ahead, carry that extra pack of disinfectant wipes. Your great-great-grand ancestors would have killed for one, or at least died slightly slower from the plague. Number 12, fear of pain. Let's face it, nobody wakes up in the morning thinking, ooh, I hope today involves a sharp object entering my thigh at high velocity. Pain is the universal no thank you. And guess what? That aversion to pain, it's not cowardice, it's your most loyal survival tool. Fear of pain, or algophobia, isn't just about physical discomfort. It's a full-body red alert system designed to keep you alive, functional, and not limping into the afterlife with a spear wound. Back in the day, pain meant injury. Injury meant vulnerability. Vulnerability meant that while you were lying there clutching your ankle, something with sharper teeth was thinking, ooh, snacks. Even today, pain teaches you boundaries. Like, don't touch hot things, don't sprint barefoot through gravel, or don't let Chad convince you to jump off the roof again. Your brain literally has a whole neurological department dedicated to pain. It processes the sensation, evaluates the danger, and decides whether you should scream, flee, or curl up in a fetal position and contemplate your life choices. And if you're scared of experiencing pain, congratulations, you're just really invested in not being broken. Basically, fear of pain is your nervous system whispering, let's not test your durability like a crash test dummy, okay? Number 13, fear of snakes. Some people see a snake and go, wow, beautiful creature. Others leap onto the nearest chair like they're auditioning for a cartoon. Guess which group survived longer in the wild? The fear of snakes, ophidiophobia, is one of the most hardwired phobias in the human brain, and it makes total sense. Snakes have no legs, move like evil spaghetti, and some of them can kill you faster than you can say oops. Studies show humans are ridiculously fast at spotting snake-like shapes, even in cluttered images or peripheral vision. Your brain lights up like a fire alarm the second it thinks it saw a scale. It's not being dramatic, it's running ancient predator alert mode. Why? Because snake bites were and still are a legitimate cause of death in many parts of the world. Even non-venomous snakes can bite, constrict, or just generally ruin your day. Your ancestors knew better than to casually poke at the suspicious wiggly thing in the grass. The cautious ones lived. The curious ones became cautionary tales. And sure, some people love snakes. That's great. But if your fight or flight system activates like someone hit a panic button when you see a garden hose in the wrong context, that's your survival software working as intended. So next time someone calls you irrational for screaming at a harmless snake, just remind them, I'm not scared, I'm evolutionarily prepared. Number 14, fear of thunderstorms. Ah yes, a peaceful night ruined by the sky angrily rearranging itself. The fear of thunderstorms, astrophobia, affects more than just dogs and small children. Plenty of adults feel that creeping dread when the clouds go dark and the thunder starts grumbling like a cosmic stomachache. And honestly, that fear's legit. Back when your ancestors lived in thatched huts, caves, or just outside, a thunderstorm wasn't a mood, it was a potential extinction event. Lightning could set your shelter on fire, kill livestock, or zap your cousin Steve mid-sentence. So yeah, fear was a reasonable response. Even today, thunder can trigger your startle reflex, and lightning flashes cause your pupils to dilate like you've just seen a ghost. Because your brain still remembers that loud equals danger, flash equals run, and storm equals maybe now's a good time to be in a hole. It's not just the noise either. Storms often come with changes in barometric pressure and static electricity, both of which your body notices like a weather-sniffing conspiracy theorist. And if your joints start aching before a thunderstorm, congratulations, you're part human, part barometer. Fear of storms helped keep your ancestors under shelter, away from trees and off mountaintops. In other words, alive, so go ahead, cancel those plans when the sky turns gray. That's not cowardice, that's meteorological intelligence passed down through thunder-traumatized generations. Number 15, fear of being buried alive. Okay, yes, this one sounds like Victorian melodrama, but believe it or not, taphophobia, the fear of being buried alive, was once completely reasonable. Back in the 18th and 19th centuries, medicine wasn't exactly great at telling who was dead and who was just, having a little unconscious moment. Combine that with diseases like cholera and typhoid, and you had a perfect storm of people being declared dead a bit too early. People were so terrified of this that they invented safety coffins, complete with bells, flags, and breathing tubes, just in case someone woke up 6 feet under and wanted to say, "Hey." Small mix-up here, the phrase "saved by the bell," yeah, it might have come from this very problem. You know, if you consider frantically ringing a string from your coffin a save. And honestly, the fear still makes sense. Being trapped alone, unable to move or breathe, that's like a greatest hits collection of phobias. Claustrophobia, suffocation, helplessness, all rolled into one horrifyingly permanent situation. Modern medicine and embalming have mostly eliminated the risk, but your brain doesn't care. It just hears "buried" and "alive" in the same sentence and starts drafting your will out of pure panic. So if the thought makes your chest tighten and your skin crawl, don't worry, you're not morbid, you're just historically informed. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.